Oh, hi there, and welcome back to Driftville City. Today, we are going to be heading to the southern part of Driftville, to the Pokemon World Tournament. Well, it's not actually that worldly quite yet, but in the aftergame it will be very worldly, I guess. Is that even a word, or am I just making things up? Anyways, it's abbreviated PWT in case you're confused. The Pokemon World Tournament is Clay's method of bringing tourism and people to his lovely town. I guess he's the mayor or something since he's the gym leader. Down here leads to another section of Relic Passage. We'll be covering that in a few parts. And there is a couple vendors here. This person will teach you moves that your Pokemon forgot in exchange for a heart scale. This is also useful because sometimes when Pokemon evolve, they have moves that they learn at level 1, which it doesn't make any sense, but that's how the game designers program the game, so there's certain moves that Pokemon can learn if you teach it through a heart scale. This person will tell you what type of hidden power your Pokemon will learn if you teach it hidden power. Hidden power is a move that can vary any of the 17 types, and it does have a varying power, and this is based on the IVs of your Pokemon's stats. It's a little bit complicated, and calculating hidden power is very difficult to do, but just at least you can figure out what type of hidden power your move would be. This person's the move deleter. You don't really need to delete moves unless you have HMs, which can't be deleted without the move deleter. So if you have like strength and you want to replace it with return because your Pokemon are now friendly with you, that's now an option for you, so just keep that in mind. The vendors here are actually really nice. Great building here, yo. This is the Purdy World Tournament building thing or other. Let's go inside. I'm so bad at his accent. Anyways, enter on in, and Charon's actually gonna be here because Clay's like, yo, Charon, get on down to the World Tournament. Yeah. So, this fancy World Tournament can be entered over at the reception desk, and your rival Hugh and Charon are both going to enter, and you're going to be strongly encouraged to enter yourself. So I'll do that in a second. I want to finish covering the outside of this area, and while we're in here, it is worth mentioning battle points are the currency of exchanging for prizes here. You can get plenty of items at these desks. It's very Battle Frontier-ish here, and I think that was what they were going for with the game designers. There isn't really anybody too interesting to talk to in here aside from the receptionists and the prize corners. Yes, this was cold storage. I remember reading somewhere that if you trade a Pokemon over from Black and White and they were caught in the cold storage, it will now say they were caught at the Pokemon World Tournament, which is actually kind of interesting. I guess it's just the way the game's programmed. This vendor over here, her wife, the guy's wife will tell you what he does. Basically, any of the starters from any of the 5 generations can learn a really powerful elemental move. And this move is basically Hyper Beam, except it's Grass, Fire, or Water type depending on the Pokemon. Now you can only teach it to the max evolved Pokemon, so if your starter isn't at its 3rd stage yet, you won't be able to teach it those kind of moves. I don't know if I really recommend those moves. They have a 150 power, but the downside to it is it requires you to have a turn of recharging, because your Pokemon, like, I don't know, they need a second turn after you use it. Now you can switch them out immediately after using it, so that is an option, but I don't know. I never really cared for moves like Hyper Beam. This guy will give you a Rocky Helmet. It's basically the Rough Skin ability in item form. If a Pokemon damages you with physical moves, some of the damage will be dealt back to them. Kinda useful if you're going up against physical hitting Pokemon. This vendor over here will teach you the pledge moves. And these are basically moves that can be combined in double and triple battles, and they are really strong in double and triple battles. And typically, I don't really recommend these moves. They can be taught to the starters of any of the 5 generations. It's kind of, I don't know, I just don't think you fight enough double and triple battles for it to be worth it. So that's my opinion on those moves. Over here you can grab yourself a PowerPoint up, and there's nothing really too interesting here at the docks. We'll be coming back here after trying out the World Tournament, and you do have to kind of do this to advance the storyline. So, let us do the Pokemon World Tournament. There are 8 trainers that are entered, and you get to fight 3 of them to win it all. Now, like the Battle Frontier in past games, you enter 3 Pokemon. Now, the last trainer you use has a Steel type to start off. The second trainer you fight with has a normal type to start off with, and your first battle is going to be against your rival. And your rival is going to use his starter first, so just bear that in mind. It's probably not a good idea to start off with your starter. I'm going to be entering Growlithe, Oshawott, and Cottonee. I think that's a decent lineup. So you can confirm your lineup. Now, the Pokemon that you go against in this tournament are all level 25, no matter what. So, your Pokemon aren't level restricted, so as long as you have Pokemon that are higher leveled, you really won't struggle with this. I don't think the game designers really created this with the intent for you to lose. Anyways, your first battle is against your rival. Now, these aren't really hard battles because the Pokemon they're using are set at level 25, so I'm going to speed up the battles because I don't really feel a need to go into too much detail with these. But generally speaking, they are kind of like their normal, like, it's kind of like a rival battle, it's kind of like a gym battle, but not quite. So, first round, in the blue corner, we have Super Skarmory. In the red corner, we have you/Nick. Let the battle begin! Yay. Yay! Now, battles are fought in Battle Frontier / Battle Tower / that format, which means after you KO one of their Pokemon, you're not offered to switch out, and it's not really that, well, it's not really that different, but just keep that in mind. Also, certain Pokemon, for future reference way down the line, there's certain Pokemon that are obviously banned, the more powerful legendaries. Just general Battle Frontier rules is the best way to explain it. Anyways, obviously Charon advanced to the next round, which means obviously we're gonna fight Charon. So, in the red corner, we have Charon, yay! Versus Super Skarmory. Eek! Why would someone shout eek? What's there to shout eek about? Ugh, this game. Anyways, let's begin. Oh, it's also worth mentioning that you can't use items in battles. I knew I was forgetting something earlier when I was talking about Battle Frontier rules. Anyways, Charon's defeated, and we'll check out the rounds, matchup stuff, things. Obviously, Chorus on the other side won because he's the only trainer that we recognize, which means he will be our final matchup. And we get to watch flashy entrances. Yay! Fireworks and steam and smoke and things. I really like this just because of the way the lights flash as you walk by them. It reminds me so much of my favorite boss battle of all time. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, upcoming walkthrough. Anyways, Chorus versus Super Skarmory. Let the battle begin. The winner is Super Skarmory. Did not see that one coming. What a plot twist, man. There's no way you could possibly predict that. Anyways, that is the end of the Driftville tournament. You will earn yourself 1 battle point. Such a great reward, right? So you can use that to start saving up towards wondrous prizes. But for the most part, at this point in the game, after you complete this next storyline part, you can come back and fight a couple different tournaments. Some of them use rental Pokemon, like the Battle Factory in previous Pokemon games, or you could do the Driftville tournament. Nothing overly exciting. Generally speaking, the Pokemon tournament is best in the aftergame, because in the aftergame, after being the Elite Four, you could enter into special tournaments, and these special tournaments use gym leaders from this region, as well as other regions, and even champions from other regions, which means you can battle with good old champion Cynthia, or Lance, or even I think Red is somebody you can battle. So it's actually really cool, the Pokemon tournament. I really like the whole concept that they came up with. And really, you kind of need 5 generations worth of gym leaders to pull it off. So it's very interesting and definitely something worth checking out in the aftergame. I don't know if I'm really going to go over it. I probably won't even do the aftergame, but I haven't made that decision yet. So we'll see where things take us in the future. Anyways, that concludes the Pokemon tournament. Thank you, and good night.